All right, this is Lottie. Unfortunately, a van was delivering stuff to her home and ran over this foot, crushing it really badly. And when I take this bandage off, unfortunately, it's going to be extremely shocking because her foot is hanging off and various bits of it are missing. I've had a long conversation with her family and they have said that they do not want me to remove this leg at this moment in time. And when you see what's underneath this bandage, the natural instinct is to remove the limb, and already a number of veterinarians have said that that's the only realistic option. And that is indeed what we would have done for years. We're in January 2024, and when I graduated in 1928, and I'm only joking, in 1990, I would have said, well, all we can do is chop the leg off, but things have moved on. It's a pretty gruesome sight. She's a beautiful dog, and she's only 2 years of age. Wowzers.
I'm Christine.
And I'm Ed, and we're here today to come see our dog Lottie, who's been here nearly a week. So we're very grateful that she's here being looked after.
So tell me the sequence of events. Lottie got hit
At 12 o'clock. 20 yards away from me, so I heard the yelping of her as she got run over. A small truck was leaving our premises, so the guy who was helping me picked the dog up, put her in the car. 10 minutes later, we're at our vet, and he looked at it and obviously said there's serious bone damage and soft tissue, which is a big deal.
And it was at that, when he spoke about amputation.
The dog is part of the family, it's part of our lifestyle. Every morning Christine goes out for a walk with Lottie and our friends that have a dog, so it's a social thing for them. I'm recovering from prostate cancer. Every night I go out for an hour or half an hour with Lottie, do a mile, which is good for me, good for her. We wanted the best possible outcome for the dog, and we weren't thinking, well, it's only a dog.
Presumably the advice you had was that the amputation is the only option.
Correct.
They tried 3 or 4 different places.
I then said, what about contacting yourself?
Your staff obviously said yes, and obviously handed the dog over. And so we went back thinking there's nothing else we can do.
And,
Yes.
and she's in the best place in the world, isn't she, with you?
And that tissue looks dead there. And this half of the foot is gone. And the rest of the foot is basically hanging off because this is fractured in here. Not a pretty sight. Looks horrendous. So the question is, can we put this back together again and ever get a foot that is functional? There is blood supply down this side of the foot. This skin is still viable. This toe is viable. This toe is viable. This toe is viable. And there is still a blood supply to this, the metatarsal pad. If the repair I'm going to attempt now, which is conventionally deemed impossible, does not work, then we would need to chop part of the leg off and put an amputation prosthesis on, which attaches to the bone and comes through the skin, or take the whole leg off. So whilst I could chop the limb off, and I think it will be a real shame to chop away a foot that is potentially viable, the fact that the bone looks completely fractured and decimated and dried out is not as relevant as the soft tissue, because the soft tissue, which is the envelope around the foot, is what is going to make it heal. So conventionally, the opinion would be that the leg needs to come off. And I understand that, as time goes by, is the right thing to do what you've always done before. Because if you always do what you've always done, you'll always get what you've always got. And that's a leg that comes off. It'll be 34 years this year since I graduated. And I don't want medicine to be the same as it was when I graduated. I want to try and do my best for every patient. And I think technology has moved forward to the point that we can consider saving this leg. However, as I've said to the family, there's only a 50-50 chance of saving what's left. It's a difficult process. Was it ethical to do this? Because it has to be ethical to do it. But I do think that sometimes that's a cop-out by my profession. They say, oh no, it's unethical. Well, How about all of the other things you do, like take a urinary bladder out of a dog and have a pipe sticking out forever? Now in humans, you would never chop that foot off.
No.
There would never be a situation where the surgeon wouldn't try and save the foot. There's a line in the sand. Is the patient, after a reasonable period of time, 2-3 weeks, suffering beyond hope of redemption? Well, then you make a call. That's the line in the sand. And then if it doesn't work out, we've still done our best.
And we're obviously totally conscious that it may not work. With any dog or child, you're going to give them the best possible option. Now, had that been a child that's leg run over, that child would be in hospital for another weeks, months, because we all know at the end of it, that child can walk again. So that trauma is justified, especially if that child, or in this case the dog, is not under any pain. And if it's been looked after in every respect, in terms of its food, toiletries and hygiene, there is no big deal. We're both totally
In tune
with each other. You've been honest with us, we've been honest with you. And we're just grateful that there's one person on the planet taking our dog on.
So now I'm going to talk you through that process and where we are today. So you've got a choice now. I can either show you some photographs. Are you okay with blood?
I don't want to see it.
Right.
But I can close my eyes.
So you can close your eyes now. So we can see the foot is flopping around here. I'm going to try and join these bones here to the ankle bones in here. Problem is there's quite a lot of bone missing. So this here is the remnants of the dorsal perforating metatarsal artery. It's a big problem that that's gone because this area here has no blood supply. So what we're hoping is that blood from this envelope of tissue here, which consists of muscles and connective tissue and tendons, may be able to re-establish a circumferential blood supply if we can put this back together. You with me so far? Okay. So in layman's terms, Ed, I've got half a foot that might be viable, and at the moment I'm looking at how I can skewer those into position. I had a rather challenging time doing a complex series of wires to try and hold everything together. Right, we have now created a situation where I've lined up the metatarsal bones, which are the arch of the foot, with the tarsal bones, which is the ankle of the foot. That means that I'm going to end up with 2 long rods parallel to each other like so, which are supporting this region. This toe is ripped away from all of its bone. The bone is completely missing between here and here. However, there is tissue here which is viable, still has a blood supply. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take out the bones from this toe and the claw from this toe, and I'm going to use this tissue up here to try and close the defect. We can see here where I've packed the graft that I took from the pelvis in here and here into the areas where the bone has disappeared, and this bone will help to form new bone by providing cells, so that's osteogenic, and also by providing a scaffold, so that's osteoinductive and osteoconductive. And although some of it will just resorb and go away, hopefully some of it will stick. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to try and pull these skin edges together. It's important that we don't tighten the skin too much, because otherwise the foot will balloon and swell up. Collagen will hold the bone graft in place. It'll stop bleeding, and also it will act as an agent to promote the tissue to grow in. We're using this stapler to tack down the edges of this special dressing onto the wound. We'll need to change this particular dressing every few days. I have placed several pins on the inside of the shin bone, which is the tibia. And I've placed several pins on the outside of the ankle bones, which is the tarsus. You with me so far?
Yeah.
You okay, boss?
Yes.
Right. I'm now 4.5 hours into surgery at this point. It's very involved. Now, clearly, if the patient was to walk on this, it would simply bend these small pins because they're only 1.6 millimeter in diameter. They're tiny. So you can't do that. You can't have the patient walk on this. Now I've got to build the frame, which is going to take another 2.5 hours. Right, so I've connected these 3 tiny wires that are going through the bottom of the arch bones into this particular part of the frame, which is an aluminium arch. Frame is finished now. We've got a rod down the inside, a rod down the outside, an attachment between them so that the ankle cannot move. and then horseshoes made out of aluminium down here that Lottie can walk on, and that means that this whole area here is completely protected and there's no pressure on this foot. And in a minute I'm going to give her a shoe to go on here so she doesn't need to go clippity-clop. She can have some Louis Vuittons. So I've visualized this in 3D in my head before I did it, because it's like thatching a cottage. It's a lost art. You understand as much as you can?
Yeah, it's a work of art.
Do I know yet if the foot is going to take? No, I do not. You're going to meet her, you're going to see her, and we're going to see how we set you up in here with the rug. Now, here we go. So now let's see where we are. Now, sweetie pie. That's it, good girl. Are we good? Now, sweetie pie. Come on. There we go. There we go. Now, we'll go up on that little mat, sweetheart. There we go. You take this off, sweetie pie. There we go. Now, there you go.
Darling.
Oh, it's good that she's seeing you. It's good that she's loving that you're here. That's good, isn't it?
Oh, baby, yes.
That's so good that she's recognized you. That's so good. Yeah, they're here. That's right, mate. They're here. Yeah. Well done. Yes, she did. That was a beautiful thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that thank you. This is the immense joy for me to see her responding to you like this. This is so good. So I'm going to take her back now, guys. We're going to go ahead and crack on and sedate her and get this changed and get the line changed in her neck.
Yeah, that's great.
So we've got this gungy stuff coming out of here, and that's going to be partly purulent material and partly dissolving collagen. We'll have to see what's happening underneath here. Obviously very concerning, but we'll see what happens when I get all of this off. The stitches are not holding up. Skin is dying at the edges. Never a good sign. It looks like the blood supply so far is holding up to the toes down here. Some of this tissue is dying further here. We don't know fully what's going to live and what's going to die yet. All we know is that we are doing our best. It really does appear like that bone is dead, just wasted away. So the jury is still very much out here as to what's going to happen if all of the bone of the arch of the foot, which is the metatarsus, dies. Then that's a massive problem.